Hey guys, I just want to do a really quick video of my my honey pots here. Just fed them some crickets, and their behavior, or not crickets, I'm sorry, fruit flies. Sometimes they just all kind of run in the nest and they stay in the nest. They guard the entrance, and any fruit flies wander in there. They snag them, but they'll pretty much stay in the nest till the fruit flies die, and then they'll come grab them. This go around, they came out in full force, as you can see. As a new ant keeper, which I do consider myself, I've been in it for a little over a year now, but I do consider myself relatively new at this. It's always fun to see new behaviors, and this is probably, next to one of my larger Novomaster colonies, probably one of my biggest colonies, not from a physical standpoint, but the most members in a colony. But I talked to Mac over at Tar Heel Ants, well, not talked, but shared some emails, and he said he's estimating about the end of next week I'll have that expansion chamber for this colony, so I'll be able to move them over to an actual fortress, and the colony will have the luxury of deciding if they want to leave the queen or the repletes in the current nest. So this go around, I am not going to force them as I've done in previous colonies, which have been very unsuccessful. So this time they'll be able to stay in this nest, they'll be able to expand to the next nest. And thinking forward, we've also created a second expansion nest for the fortress I'm going to be moving them into. And for those of you guys that don't know, look at some of my other videos. I've got 3 other fortress units that some of my Novomaster colonies are in right now. It's a good nest to step up to from the mini hearth, which is what we're looking at here. So just knowing that this particular species does not handle the moving well, I'm trying to consider, or I'm trying to think to the future as far as how I'm going to handle this particular colony and this species in general. Because if I can catch more of these, this is, in my opinion, the cat's meow. I've always been fascinated with this species, going all the way back to my youth, and the fact that 20 plus years later, as an adult, getting into ant keeping, one of my very first queens that I caught, not this colony, but one of my very first queens was a honeypot. So it's been very rewarding, although this is my only remaining honeypot colony that I have. They are doing well, but I'm hoping that that continues, and I'm relatively confident that the reason for the future, or the previous failures, is I was in too much of a rush to move them, which I will admit people advised me don't try to move them, don't rush, and I did. And the one caveat with this particular species opposed to other species is you've got the repletes, which I think to a certain extent, once they get to a certain size, are immobile, and you just can't move them. So part of the thought process is an expansion nest, yet again, giving them the opportunity to move as they see. I would assume the queen and the current repletes will stay in this nest, and then the expansion nest is new repletes, while they're still small and mobile, will find their permanent place in the new nest. And then if they start to outgrow that nest, we've already thought of a future expansion to the current, or the new expansion chamber. So I'll have a total of 3 nests that will all sync together. Past that, I don't really know. I haven't thought that far ahead. It will be something that it will be a problem or a challenge I hope to overcome down the road. But right now I'm just thinking about the next 2 years with this particular colony. And hey, they may grow much quicker than anticipated. I don't know. That would definitely be great if that's the case. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and look at the inside there. The repletes, I couldn't even tell you how many there are now. I mean, this colony is growing rapidly, and I'm very excited to get them into a new nest with museum glass. This is very hard to see inside now, and this was my very first mini hearth that I received from Tar Heel Ants. Everything I get from Tar Heel Ants now has museum glass. This one did not. For those of you that are thinking of ordering through Tar Heel, I know depending on where you're at in this hobby, if you're younger and you have to bug your parents and justify that additional $10 for museum glass, I can understand it can be a challenge. but typically, depending on what you're buying, you're already spending a good chunk of change. If you can swing for that extra $10 or so for the museum glass, I'm here to tell you it is worth it. Being that I have both, one with, one, or most with museum glass, one without museum glass, I can personally attest that it does make a difference. And guys, we're doing this because we want to watch. You know, it's like having a fish tank and never looking at what's going on inside the tank. I mean, the point of it is we want to watch. Now, I am a proponent to taping off the nest. Ants naturally want it to be dark, so you know, and it also gives us the ability to manipulate the behavior, so to speak. So if I want to move the colony or do something, I can expose them to light. They believe that their nest has been opened up from a human or some kind of animal, and they're going to move to a dark space. So if I've created a new nest for them, I'm going to create a nest that's dark and comfortable and humid for them, given that's the the environment that they like, and make the current nest, trying to move them out of, very unpleasant, from whether it be adding heat, adding light, whatever the case might be. So there are some pros to controlling the environment to your advantage. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hit pause. My phone's been giving me grief, and I do, of course, record from my phone. I don't know if the flash will come on, and that makes, of course, it very difficult to see inside, so I may try to add some additional light so you guys can see inside the nest. And it is naturally very difficult to see inside this nest because, in my opinion, the glass. So bear with me, I'll be right back. Okay, here we are looking into the nest, and as I suspected, it was going to be slightly difficult. Now what I'm going to try to do here, guys, while I'm keeping the camera live, I could probably pause this and make it a little bit more pleasant for you guys, but I'm just going to not, and see if we can't see in there with just slightly less glare. So you guys can kind of see some of the repletes, but again, I'm going to try to add a little bit of light, guys. I probably won't have a ton of success here, but I'm going to give it a go. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, I'm getting a lot of flickering there. I don't know. I'm seeing that on my screen. I don't know if that's going to come through in the video or not. It's amazing how the flash doesn't do that, but any other kind of ambient light does. Okay. And I'm not responsible for anybody that has a seizure over this video. There is my legal disclaimer. Okay. Let's see if we can zoom in just a hair. Oh, that flickering. See, I don't know. That is weird. Let me see if I can try something else. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. Let's see if we can't. Try to be very studious with the light here. See if you guys can look in there. And so, guys, there are a lot of repletes. The ones that you're looking at right there up front, those are all new repletes. The old ones, it's a little bit easier to see with the naked eye. They're in the back there. Yeah, this is just frustrating. Does not want to focus in. Let's try moving that back just a hair. That's a little bit better. Not much though, but yeah, there are a lot of new repletes. You see 3 right up front there. A couple new ones hanging up front, hanging up top there that will be future repletes. Got the original ones in the back. Let me try another light. I truly cannot wait till I get this new nest in. I can actually adequately show off these guys because they are too cool. Okay, that's I kind of dig that. That's a little bit better. Can't see really far back into the nest, but you can kind of see the front of the nest. What I can tell you is there are quite a few repletes. I think you can almost see 4 one to the far right of the screen near the tape. I want to say there's probably 6 of them total. They're actually starting to become somewhat bulbous. But anyway, I'm going to stop bothering them. Let me tape them up and we'll move back into the foraging area. Alrighty, we are back into the foraging area. And these guys have done a number on the fruit flies. There were quite a few of them, and they have eliminated them all. These guys are also great drinkers. I'll put a couple dabs of honey out. I would do it now, but those ants are so close to the top of the lid that I would most certainly have some escapees. So I'm just gonna resist the temptation to add some blobs of honey in there. And guys, what I do for honey, I'm just going to take a minute to show you, because I think some of you watch this as kind of a how-to. Please learn from my mistakes. Now, all of my ants love honey, all the various species that I have, but these guys, you know, a honeypot, I think that's more just due to the way the pleats look, but they do like honey. They like all fluid, I mean sugar water, and they will drink every last drop of it. Well, my other colonies, even larger ones, won't drink everything that I give them. These guys will completely, eat it to the last, or drink to the last drop. But what I've done, it's kind of sticky. I'm going to shift over here, and move on over. Is I just have a little, and this is all local sourced honey. So it's not, you can see store-bought here, which I've had this out here for probably a year. Probably need to toss it, but what this is this is local sourced honey that I get from guys, out here in Tucson. They literally sit on the side of the road and they're selling local honey from local bees, beekeepers. So that's typically what I like to use. The stuff stays good forever. And what I'll do is I'll mix a little bit of water in there just to get it nice and less condensed, and I'll put a couple dabs in there, and I'll continually put more water in there until it becomes too diluted. I mean, the water evaporates out. It's Tucson, Arizona. It's, during the day it's about 95, 100 degrees in my garage, so it evaporates out. So I'll just shoot a little bit of water in there, mix it up, and then a little dab will do ya. So that is that. That is how I just keep that out here. And I've also been playing around with, I saw Ants Canada, Mikey Bustos, gave some high quality, I don't know if this high quality was the most expensive little can I could find and this wasn't at like a PetSmart or big box store. I actually went to a legitimate, specialty fish place, and this was the highest quality you could get in a very small, because I'm not going to use a lot of it. But I've tried the fish flakes. And I'm going to scan over here to my larger Novomester colony. I put birdseed and fish flakes in there, and they move them over there. So I'll clean that up, put more over here, and they will move them over here. I have not to date seen them take them down into the nest. Some other, and they don't particularly like seeds, but I give them seeds. What the hell? Let's look at another colony, since I'm already into a 13-minute video. So for those of you that have actually stuck it out this long, you're interested. For those of you that, broke away in the first couple minutes, you obviously don't care. So I'm catering to the people that are still watching. Okay, and here is my Pogonomerix barbados. I don't know. I will pronounce it wrong. Oh, let's get some light in there. What is going on here? Okay. And these guys are doing killer. This was one that I caught back in September of 2016. For the longest time, let me see if I can get a better angle. I'm just holding a flashlight up because for whatever reason my phone flash isn't working. So let me try another light. And guys, for those of you that were watching earlier, you can kind of see the difference between, that doesn't help. I'll stick with this one. You can see the difference between this glass and the first one. Did not have the museum glass. It does. There is a noticeable difference. But anyway, get back to this colony here. This was the one where Queen really wasn't doing much for a very long time. Then had one Anikthic for quite some time. Still didn't seem to, I wasn't really confident that the colony was going to survive, but they are doing just awesome now. I'm sorry for the shoddy filmmaking. There's quite a few of them, and I think, what was it, maybe a month or 2 months ago, there was 1 or 2 ants. I'll have to go back and look at my timeline, but yeah, they're definitely doing better now. There's at least 10 ants, a very healthy brood, and here we go. And I've got some. I'm confident that this colony will do well. Yeah, you can see a lot of brood, a lot of pupate there that will be emerging here in the next 2 weeks. These guys like seeds. What's kind of neat about, move over here to the foraging area. What's kind of neat, these guys will do the same thing. I'll put all the seeds in one corner and I'll organize them to move them from one side of the foraging area to the next. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, these guys have been fun to watch. I'm enjoying them, and yeah, I hope they do well. But time will tell. Hey guys, I as always, I appreciate you guys watching. I know my the quality of my videos is really subpar when compared to some of the other folks out there, but for those of you that religiously watch my videos, I do truly appreciate it. I've been promising this for quite some time. Oh, sounds like my dryer's done. I've been promising for probably a year now that I was going to get a better camera, and I will eventually do that, because I kind of enjoy sharing this with you guys, and I would like to get a legit camera and a tripod and be able to take some decent videos for you guys. I think it's kind of important, so it will be something I will do one of these days. But until then, thank you for watching.